off. All right, so thanks for coming on. I want to start this one off by just for our viewers, can you give a brief rundown of this past March when you got the call to join the UFC roster on like 4 or 5 days notice?
Sure. Yeah. So back in March, we got the call for the Tai Tuivasa fight. He was supposed to be fighting Don'Tale Mayes. Either Don'Tale or somebody in his camp came down with COVID, I think, or something like that. But anyways, it was like he was medically ineligible to fight. So they asked my manager Pat if we'd be interested in taking the fight, and we did. Unfortunately, the first fight didn't work out, in our favor, but we'll be headed back soon, and it's gonna be a good time. I'm excited, man. I jumped at the opportunity to get in, and now I'm ready to put the real work in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So as far as that goes, how do you feel that you've grown since that opportunity and what you're preparing for your next time out?
I've made drastic changes to my training, to my lifestyle, and I've got my head right. You know what I mean? It was a lot of pressure fighting on 4 days' notice against Tuivasa. You know what I mean? That's a hell of a task.
Yeah.
For anybody on full notice, and then doing it on a 4-day notice, and like I was a little beat up too. Coming out of my last fight before that. And so like I was already banged up. I fought like 2 weeks before that. And like even when you win fights, you still have injuries, you know what I mean? So I was a little beat up, and then I come out and I landed that first exchange and broke my hand too. I ended up having to have hand surgery after the fight. So that put me on the sidelines for a little while, but it gave me some time to really get my head right, get my mind where it needed to be. And, I laid down alcohol, quit drinking. I've been, I started doing CrossFit, which has been a great, great asset to my training. My coach's gym got opened back up. It did shut down due to COVID, and we're back open again now. So like, it's just been a perfect storm of events since the Tai Tuivasa fight. So, now like all the stars are aligning. We've got a great fight. Still can't really say anything about the opponent or the date or anything, but we do have a contract signed. It's a great opponent for me. The timeline and it is exactly where I wanted it. I mean, everything's perfect, man. So I'm pretty excited.
So as far as the hand injury that you were mentioning, I assume they gave you a medical suspension for that. How long was it?
I think it was just until I got cleared by the doctor. Yeah, I think it was an indefinite suspension just until I got cleared from the doctor because they knew I needed surgery. So yeah, but as soon as my doctor released me, which what was it? 3 months. Yeah, 3 months is what it was. I mean, as soon as I was doing good in physical therapy. I mean, it's still weak, but like he said, like after you have a thumb surgery, it takes a while to, get it built back up, but it feels great. I mean, it's been holding up strong. It gets a little sore sometimes, but I mean, it feels great. So
to the extent that you can reveal, what specific things are you doing to prepare for this next fight?
Definitely just running my conditioning. That's been number one. I want to make sure that the gas tank is there. I've added a lot of long distance running. Just being able to be back in the gym with my coach, multiple times a week consistently is great, because the 2 times that you guys have seen me on national television, I've been piecing together my own training camps, like, just training myself and stuff. So, I mean, I'm a totally different fighter when me and Coach Seals are seeing each other often. And it was just a rough year last year with COVID going on, and I made some mistakes too. And then there being short notice fights, I can't really be mad or like claim my mistakes made it happen, because it's just a lot to, I've lost 4 times as a professional, and 3 of them have been on very short notice. Like my pro debut, my opponent changed on 24 hours notice, and like I took the fight still just because, you know, I mean, it was my fight. I was already ready to fight anyways. It was just a much different opponent. I was supposed to be fighting a stand-up guy, and I was fighting like a collegiate level wrestler, and he just took me down and he got the best of me. He was better, you know, he's better than me. And then Don Tail is really the only one that, you know, was really full notice, and like I just lost to the better fighter right there. You know what I mean? And so I don't know. I'm excited to you know, show the world what I can do whenever I've got the full camp. I've been making all the right decisions as for training, man. I mean, there's no way he's training harder than me, this next opponent. So I don't know, I'm pumped, man. I'm excited. It feels like, you know, my life's work or my life's dreams are finally going to get to come to fruition. So it's an awesome feeling. It's a lot of pressure too, of course, but it's an awesome feeling.
Could you see maybe in the future, if all goes well, could you maybe see a rematch with Jared in the pipeline? I know you fought him on the Contender. Would that be
Yeah,
something you're interested
yeah. I
in?
mean, obviously, anytime you lose, you would like to fight that person again. So, you know, I'm worried about my next fight right now. So like I'm not gonna call anybody out because I got enough task at hand at the moment. But like I would definitely be interested in fighting him again for sure. Because like I was winning that fight until I wasn't, which is, you know, the way it works. But soon as he got a hold of me, I just realized that my gas tank was out, and you know, I had to pay for it. But yeah, I think that on a full notice that he would be in a lot of trouble. I mean, you know, I'm not knocking him, but all his performances have been pretty, you know, he's had some ups and downs performance wise. So, you know, I just think that's a great fight for me if we meet somewhere down the road.
From your perspective as a heavyweight, obviously, one of the storied divisions in combat sports, but also one where, as you say, you can be winning until you're not. Is there any of that fear knowing that you can get put out by one shot no matter what you're doing? Does that follow you into the cage?
Yeah, I mean, you think about it all the time. That's why I'm training so hard. I'm not trying to get KO'd in front of the whole world again, man. I'm gonna try to be on the giving end of that instead of the receiving end this time. You know what I mean? Hold on, sissy. Sorry.
It's all good.
But yeah, it's a lot of pressure knowing that guys are heavy handed. I mean, there's not a guy in the heavyweight division that can't put your lights out. You know what I'm saying?
So are you, as far as the standpoint of being on the giving end of that, what do you look for in terms of openings in your fights, or what do you think about you as dangerous or that opponents should
Um,
be afraid of?
I mean, I got good stand up. My wrestling has improved greatly. I'm a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. I mean, I'm well rounded wherever the fight goes. So I mean, openings that I look for, I mean, just, you know, wait until guys throw and drop on their way out. You know, they leave room to counter, and then just a lot of guys don't move their head super well, so their head, you know, kind of stationary. That makes finding it a lot easier when you're throwing punches. And then when we get on the ground, it's just I try to stay in an advantage position until they give me a chance to tap them out.
From a ground standpoint, do you feel like, I guess, how significantly has it improved from now versus, you mentioned, your first fight?
My ground game. Oh man, I'm telling you, my ground game over the past 5 years has come such a long way. I mean, more than 5 years really, but man, recently my ground games came a long way. Coach Seals has been a great asset for my jujitsu journey, and he's the man. I can't speak highly enough for what Coach Seals at Lexington Jiu-Jitsu and Fitness has done with me as a fighter. I mean, the only two fights that I've lost since I've been with him are the two 4 days notice fights. Yeah, I mean, we've won every other fight since we've been together. But those, and I was on a 5-fight winning streak going into the Contender Series the first time, lost that one on 4 days' notice, came back, won again, and then we got the UFC called in. So
So is a short notice something that you would do in the future, even though the outcomes maybe haven't been what you've expected or hoped for? Would you do it in the future?
man, I never say no type guy. So if they called me and they needed me, I would definitely be in, you know, as long as it made sense. I mean, now that I'm in, obviously I was taking a lot of reckless risks trying to get in, but now that we're here, I'm going to attempt to make calculated decisions, but if it's a short notice deal and they need me, then, I'm a fighter and I'm going to fight. So,
All right, so to round it off for this next fight, just a rundown of who has had some of the most impact on what you've been doing for this next fight and where you're at going into it.
so we started this thing here in Kentucky called the Kentucky Fighters Group. It's a big cross training um, thing that me and my boy Trent put together. Me and him were kind of stuck, just me and him training together, like all through COVID. And like when we would get into fight camp, we would need new sparring partners. So we kind of invented this thing and said, hey, like everybody in Kentucky come out and let's cross train together. And excuse me. And like it's become like a huge thing. So like I'm getting a lot of different looks in there for sparring. And we've just built a good community out of that. So that's been a huge asset. And then me being, like I said, my coach's gym is back open again now. So like being able to meet him consistently and get that work in to be ready for these fights. And then, adding CrossFit in my game. Like I've really changed it. I mean, like everything is like, I'm telling you, man, like it's fire and perfect. That's why I'm like I'm so excited to fight this time, is because like I know that people are going to get to see who I really am. And like, even like if I went out there and like still lost, dude, but like I'm going to fight a good fight this time. And I know that everything's going to be going right, so like I've really changed everything, man. My ground game has continued to grow. I'm getting, killer sparring in. My physical fitness wise, I'm down, like I'll be like 12 pounds lighter than you guys saw me my last fight, and that's like right now. And I got up to like 275 after the hand surgery, so I've lost like 30 pounds. I'm in ridiculously good shape, man.
That's all. That's really good stuff, man. I'm really looking forward to it, and thank you so much for being on. Yeah, it's been great. I wish you the best of luck, and thanks again.
Absolutely, thank you.